Thank you everyone so much for coming here today to this very special event showcasing women for planetary health, especially in the face of yet another impending snowstorm. My name is Erica Vedas, and I'm the Member Engagement Outreach Manager of the Planetary Health Alliance, and we're thrilled to be sponsoring this event today together with the Harvard Center for the Environment and the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. For those of you who aren't familiar with planetary health, this concept is defined as the health of human civilizations and the natural systems on which it depends. It's a new scientific field that focuses on how we're disrupting our natural environment and how this ultimately impacts our health. There's a huge amount of momentum in planetary health around the world right now, stitching together researchers and educators and policymakers and community leaders, and we're very excited to see this taking place at Harvard as well. This is our second event in the series that we're calling Solutions in Planetary Health. We've been highlighting the four winners of the Lighthouse Awards given out by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in the planetary health track. These are projects chosen from around the world that are considered outstanding examples of on-the-ground action to address climate change and planetary health. We showcase the Plastic Bank in events on April 6th and April 7th. And we're showcasing two winners today, Building Resilient Livelihoods in the Sudan and We Care Solar, along with Health and Harmony. And we will have our final event on April 10th, which focuses on restoring peatlands in Russia. Today's event features women from around the world showcasing solutions at the intersection of global environmental change, human health, and social justice, and also highlighting the crucial role of women's health and empowerment in planetary health. First, we'll hear from Fatima Ahmed, founder of Zenab Women for Women in Development, who will discuss how supporting women farmers in Sudan improves food security and climate resilience. She is a PhD candidate from the University of Gezira, Sudan, and holds a master's degree in plant physiology from a joint program between the University of Gezira and the International Center for Agricultural Researches in Dry Areas. Fatima's mother was the first woman to be educated in the El Gadirif state back in the 1930s. She founded many schools for girls in the region and was one of the 1,000 peace women nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Fatima founded Zenab for Women in Development in her mother's name in 2000 to promote peace building, women's rights, women's reproductive health, and girls' education, and she has utilized her research background to expand her focus to supporting women farmers. For her work, she has been named Ambassador of Peace from WFIP. Afterwards, Dr. Kinari Webb, founder of Health and Harmony, will share insights on advancing conservation, affordable healthcare, and alternative livelihoods in Indonesia. Kinari first developed the vision for Health and Harmony when studying orangutans in 1993 in Gunung Palung National Park, where she encountered not only a beautiful and threatened natural environment, but also the dire health needs of the people surrounding the national park. Kinari graduated from the Yale University School of Medicine, completing her residency in family medicine in Contra Costa Regional Medical Center in California. She founded Health and Harmony in 2005 and co-founded the ASRI program in Indonesia to work together with local communities to both improve their health and preserve the natural environment. Finally, Dr. Laura Stachel, founder and executive director of We Care Solar, will speak to how solar electricity can reduce maternal mortality in developing regions. Laura holds an MD from the University of California, San Francisco, and an MPH in maternal and child health from the University of California, Berkeley. She founded We Care Solar to promote safe motherhood and reduce maternal mortality in developing regions by providing health workers with reliable lighting, mobile communication, and medical devices using solar electricity. Laura has won numerous awards, including the 2015 UN DESA Powering the Future We Want Award, the UCSF Alumni Award, the C3E Leadership in Developing Countries Award, and the Top 10 2013 CNN Heroes Award. Professor Gina McCarthy, director of the Harvard Center for Health and the Global Environment and former EPA administrator, Senator Tim Wirth, former U.S. Senator and Vice Chair of the United Nations Foundation, and Dr. Sam Myers, Director of the Planetary Health Alliance and Principal Research Scientist at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, will moderate the following discussion. So thank you so much for being here today, and please join me in welcoming Fatima to the stage.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Erica. First of all, I would like to thank Parental of Health Alliance for inviting me and sponsoring my trip to come here and to meet all of you. I really appreciate that, and I'm very excited to share our stories with students and scientists and people who care about the issues of health and environment. And we feel this is good opportunity to make some kind of links between what is going on the ground and at the international level or at the developed countries. Our programs actually started as official program in 2005, in the year of 2000, but as an initiative for advocating for girls' rights for education and women rights for violence against women. This is started as continuation of the effort of Zainab Muhammad Noor, which is a pioneer woman educator from eastern part of Sudan, graduated from the Teacher Institute in 1941, and advocating for girls' right for education, and opened many girls' schools in Gadaref State and eastern part of Sudan, and in Kassala in other part of Sudan. And still, unfortunately, this journey started during almost 60 years ago, but still girls' education in Sudan faced with big problem. And unfortunately, right now, in many places in Sudan, in rural areas, illiteracy rate is almost more than 70%, which is really unbelievable, but this is the reality. Still, we are working hard to make it make hope for many girls and to enter to primary education by promoting girls' education in rural areas, not only in eastern Sudan, but in different parts of Sudan. And there are many factors actually making this difficult. When Zainab, the teacher, started in 1940s, it was only the tradition which make it difficult for girls to go to school. But now the tradition plus economic problem. So in Sudan, because of the limited resources, the governments, which it is responsibility to make chances for everyone to get to school, but in many rural areas or even in the cities, the model of education is co-education, where girls and boys in the same classroom. And this is one factor that make it difficult for girls to go to primary education, or even if they go to school from first grade, from fourth grade, it's very high dropout, because these conservative communities, they don't want their daughter to be at the same classroom with boys. And the problem is this, when the girls, even if it go for primary education, when it comes to fourth grade or fifth grade, it end up home. Next year, age of 12 or 13, get married, which actually contributed to early marriage, which is very common in rural Sudan. And also, unfortunately, next year she get pregnant and she might die in the So this is also contribute to high maternal mortality rate. And unfortunately, Sudan is one of the highest maternal mortality rate in the world. If it's not the highest, it is among the highest countries. So these are the series of problems related to lack of education, or if there is illiteracy rate. And our program, make it possible for thousands of girls by trying to separate the classroom, try to enhance the educational environment in many rural schools, even for boys, with support from different donors from inside Sudan, like French Embassy in Khartoum, Japan Embassy. Just last week, we signed an agreement with Japan Embassy in Khartoum to build another girls' school, which is number 6 now. So these are kind of program. And I believe, since I was a student like you, and I was in the University of Jazeera, and University of Jazeera is it established in the 70s, and I think the first university in Sudan to sponsor the American system. And this interdisciplinary approach of us when we were a student to go to the rural areas. Even I was at the agriculture science, faculty of agriculture science, and to go with the medical students and students from the economic and field and science to go together to rural areas and where agriculture schemes around us, like Jazeera Agriculture Scheme, which is the largest irrigated agriculture scheme in Africa. Unfortunately, now it's deteriorated, but still it exists, and other agriculture schemes. So the issue of the interrelation between all this, education, environment, health, it's in our mind since the university study since we were a student. This is why for us now to try to, sometimes there is criticism how you do all this together, but for us, as I see it as this is suitable for our content as grassroots or as grassroots NGOs from developing countries or least developing countries, because if we go to the community to convince them or try to help them to get their daughters or their boys to school, we found so many other problems. Those communities need help in terms of feeding themselves. They need help in production, in their production. They need help in health, in legal issues. So this is why we tried through Zainab to sponsor the multidisciplinary approach in terms of trying to help as much as we can when we enter to any community. The other program, which is very important for us, is poverty alleviation, which link also with food security in the same meaning. But also we found ourselves in when we started this program, we faced with many issues like first we tried to study the situation of we concentrate on the women farmers actually. And I just want to say we are in Gaddarif State, this organization, or myself, I'm from Gaddarif State, and Gaddarif State is one of the 3 states of Eastern Sudan, and it is bordering Ethiopia. And Gaddarif State is number 1 agriculture state in Sudan, responsible of producing almost 75% of the staple food of Sudan, which is sorghum. Not only Sudan, actually, Ethiopia and other neighboring countries rely on the production from Gaddarif. So, and the women actually contributed almost 70 to 75% for traditional agriculture in Gaddarif. But the women are very small-scale farmers. Still, they are large-scale farmers in Gaddarif, but when it comes to the women, even 75% involved in these agriculture activities, but they are very marginalized, excluded from whatever benefits for agriculture support or inputs. And unfortunately, most of those women are at the head of household. So they are responsible of their families. So this is why we find it very important when we have to work in this field of food security to mainly support the women or try to get help for the women farmers. So we started this program in 2006 in 6 communities, around 200 women, by supporting them in terms of improved seeds, helping them in preparing their lands for agriculture, because they usually used to use very primitive tools for plowing and preparing their lands, which take too much time and energy from them. And also for the first time to help those women to get access to credit. First time in the history of Sudan in 2006, when we organized those women in associations, 6 associations, and we went to the bank with them to help to convince the bank to give these women some kind of credits. And unfortunately, still the bank the same in all the world. They need collateral or grantee. So we've solved this problem by putting personal check just to help to make this happen. And I really feel it was breakthrough in this women access to credit, because the women, by the time they have to pay back the bank, they paid in full before the deadline. So this is make big attention from the banks to the women, and they keep talking. The women are serious, they pay even better than men, and it makes really policy changes and some sort of good steps in terms of even the government looking to the women and to the relationship with the bank, and make some initiative of small loans for the women and all this. This program by year 2013, it almost cover more than 5,000 women. Most of them are head of households, and it increased their production and productivity. And this program also linked to adult education, because most of those women are illiterate, the women farmers, and it's very important to, at least if we want to raise their awareness about any issues, we have to give them some sort of education. And I'm really glad to say that many of those women now are graduated after 3 years, and we found there is curriculum called reflection is very good, which link education with production and the environmental education and all this. This is very good, and we did this also with help of other very local organization which is specialized in adult education. So it is kind of partnership with some organization in Gadaref state and in other states. So the women farmers program, this is the program which won the United Nations Convention for Climate Change in 2011. And one of the women who benefited from this program was with me in Bonn for the award. And those women now, they are really true leaders, not only in agriculture, or they are empowered in terms of economic empowerment. I mentioned earlier that those women now, like last March 8th, they organized by themselves to celebrate the International Women's Day and to celebrate the success they have in terms of economic empowerment, in terms of awareness about many issues, climate change and other issues. The other program, which is important to us, or we work on it, is the reproductive health program, or promoting reproductive health for women. And this is actually include in our mind. When we started, we have very important issue to us as people from Sudan or from rural areas, is the female genital mutilation. We have traditional bad tradition, and this is still very common. So we trying through the reproductive health program to raise the awareness of those women, and for to ban FGM, to actually stop early marriage for their daughter, and to help their daughter to have education, and all this actually reflected in the health and good being of those women and the communities. Also, there are cross-cutting issues, because when we go to those communities, as I said, we find so many legal problems for facing those women in terms of divorce or child support, other legal issues. We get help from the UNDP to establish legal aid center, which really helps those women in different ways, and helps the women prisoners also. We work with the women prisoners in different states. We enhance the situation of the prison of women and the children. So these are the issues. We have so many things we have done, and we really hope that these initiatives or these programs to be replicated and to be scaled up, because we feel it has very good impact and good result. I don't want to say thank you so much. Thank you.